I don't know why you're trying to make a scene here, but remember this one thing. This is my life and I decided to spend it with my girlfriend. So I don't need your opinion in this. These are the last words I heard from my very best friend after I told him to break up with his girlfriend. So, guys, please tell me, am I the idiot for telling my friend that proposing to his girlfriend is a terrible idea? I have a friend named John, 29 male, whom I met in college. He is a very handsome man and thus had a bad reputation as a bit of a freak boy. By our sophomore year, John started hanging out with this girl named Kelly. Kelly is a nice girl, but it was obvious to everyone that she was absolutely smitten with John. And by that, I mean obsessed. She told everyone that she and John were meant to be, but John was not interested in her like that. In fact, he was far more interested in her roommate Amanda. Long story short, John and Amanda got together and surprisingly fell in love. This caused some friction between Kelly and Amanda all the time in our college, but it was smoothed over. John was head over heels for Amanda and even proposed to her at her 25th birthday party. She, of course, said yes. However, it was not meant to since Amanda was killed by a drunk driver. John was so devastated at the time, but he refused help and turned to drinking alcohols 24/7. We begged him to go to the counseling, but he just ignored us all. Kelly swooped in and started comforting him since she happened to live close to him. Thanks to her for this, he seemed to have come out of it a bit, but I kept an eye on everything. I didn't like the idea of her comforting him. It seemed very wrong. She was still obsessed with him and never got over him choosing her roommate over her. Well, my suspicions were very correct. 2 years after Amanda died, Kelly proudly announced that she and John were a couple. I was not very happy with it, but I kept it to myself. John seemed very happy, so I let it go. She seemed to be more into the relationship than he was. Now, just yesterday, John confided in me that he wants to propose to Kelly. I could not hold it anymore and told him that it would be a terrible idea. Kelly was obsessed with him and he still had not properly processed the grief from Amanda. I asked him to name the thing he liked most about Kelly, and his biggest answer was that she was there for him during his darkest period. He also said she was very kind. Maybe I'm crazy, but it sounded like he just appreciated her company more than he actually liked her. I told him she was not the right fit for him, and I could not stand by and not say anything. He said I needed to butt out and let him make his own choices. He also called me an idiot for this. So, guys, please tell me, am I an idiot for voicing my own opinion in this? Please help me with your opinions. The opinions are: if John never gave you a permission to speak into this matter, if your opinion was unsolicited, you are the idiot here. Yes, it's possible they don't last, that you may end up being right about their compatibility, but it won't absolve you if you never solicited your advice. Further, your action likely just ensured you won't have your presence in his future unless you apologize quickly and genuinely. You're the idiot here, but not for what you said, although you could have probably said it better. This is a man who, in your opinion, is making the wrong move for his life, but maybe he is actually happy and in love with his girlfriend. It's okay to voice your concerns to him, but maybe without insulting the woman that has been making him happy again in his life, especially after his ex-girlfriend's death. So don't play with him. For the next story, my mother has been dating a man named M for the past 5 years. My mother and M are both 53 years old, while I am 22 years old. Currently, I am staying at home with my mother before going to university in the summer. I am an interior design student and a part-time retail worker, so I am under a lot of natural pressure. M is still legally married and has two children from that previous marriage. He used to have odd jobs but decided to stop working and lost his house because he spent all his money on weed and alcohol. As such as he has been living with us for the last 4 months. When my mother told me he was moving in, I said, fine, but I want him out before Christmas. However, he is still here staying with us. Recently, his brother-in-law and nephews came to visit, and it's been very transformative for myself and my mother's relationship. He's been staying with them and we have been having a blast having time to ourselves again. As it's Friday in my time zone, I said to my mom that I had make a risotto tonight and we can catch up on your drag race because he doesn't like us watching it. I was angry because while he's been here, the only thing he does is wash dishes and make dinner. Side note, no portion for me. He is also extremely controlling, constantly asking my mother where she is and who she is with. When she told me he was going to be home, I was very angry. I said to my mom that I have had a conversation with him and give him until tomorrow at 4 to get out of our house. I went to have the discussion, but he kept making excuses. I kept trying to reiterate my point, but he kept interrupting and making excuses. I lost myself and told him he's destroyed my relationship with my mother and pretty much bankrupts her on a monthly basis. My mother has tried to have several conversations telling him about the impact his staying has had on me alongside my usual stress. I told him to forget that tomorrow at 4 plan and he can pack his things and get out of our house. After I said this, he had 1 hour to collect his things and get out. I felt calm and light until my mother came into my room and told me he is upset and tried to get me to compromise. I agreed to apologize for my tone but would say I still stand by everything I had said. We have decided to let him stay until 4 tomorrow. I am about to go through and give my apology, but I want to know if I was the idiot for losing my rag in this situation, guys. Please help me with your opinion. The opinions are, you are not the idiot and don't apologize to either one of them, not even for your tone. They will take that as a weakness. They are trying to put you on the defensive because they don't like you being on the offensive. Do not back down. Do not apologize. So what if it hurts his feelings? Tough, you're kicking him out. Stay strong and don't soften or waver 1 inch. Your mom keeps caving to his wounded puppy routine, but you don't have to do that. So don't refuse to back down or back up in the slightest. Don't let him negotiate 1 more second under your roof. If he says, but I don't have anywhere else to go, you say, tough, that's not my problem. You are an adult, so figure it out for yourself. For the next story, I, female 16, currently live with my dad and older brother. Male 21, I have been working part-time to save up because it's my dream to go to college in another state. My dad does not really care what I do, but my brother was worried when I got the job because it requires me to take the bus by myself for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. We don't really live in a very nice area. It's kinda dangerous, not nice. I usually work in the afternoons, but I recently got called into close. Since it was late at night, my coworker was supposed to drive me home, but her daughter got sick and she had to clock out early. I was not allowed to leave since it was just me on the floor. My shift ended 10 p.m. so I ended up calling my brother to ask him to pick me up, which he did without any problem. After I got home, his girlfriend sent me a lot of angry text messages because I apparently interrupted their date. They were watching a movie at her place and he left early to get me. This is the problem. I feel bad because they don't see each other a lot. My brother also works a lot to save money for his future, but I knew that my brother would be upset if I took the bus alone, and it really was not super safe in my country. There have been a lot of mugging in the area at night. She said that I could have asked my dad, which is true, but he is always really slow and forgetful. The last time I asked him to pick me up, he was 30 minutes late because he was at the bar with his friends. And I didn't want to stay at the bus stop for that much time. She made me feel like a princess, and she is technically right that I could have just waited the extra time. My brother says do not listen to her, though, and it was his choice to come. I'm really sad and confused now. So, guys, I really don't know if I was wrong. So, please help me with your opinions. The opinions are you are not the idiot. The girlfriend was completely out of the line to text you to complain to you. That's a discussion she should have restricted to having with your brother if she had an issue with his simply being a good big brother who cared for his kid sister's safety and well-being. If I were your brother, her reaction and the fact that she berated you about it would be really a big red flags. You're not the idiot, and she is obviously very selfish and does not have any younger siblings that she cares for because your brother did what any good-hearted person would do for their younger sibling. If they thought they were somewhere at 10 o'clock at night with no ride, I definitely think that your brother needs to be talking to her and defending you about how inappropriate it is for her to reach out to you, especially with the age difference and you being 16 years old. And personally, I think your brother's relationship is not going to work for a very long time.